Alright, and we are live. Good evening po sa inyo lahat mga kaguro. And of course, welcome back to Gurong Pinoy. Continuously pa rin po tayo naghahanda para sa inyong nalalapit na licensure examination for teachers. This, of course, is for the members of Team Skinner. Again, ang ating pong Team Skinner. Ito po yung ating grupo, ang ating pong mga babies para sa nalalapit na licensure examination for teachers. Of course, that's going to be by next month. Tama po ba? No? Agosto na po. And so September na, by next month, andyan na po yung inyong licensure exam for teachers. At so sana po ay handang-handa na tayo, no? By now, sana po we are already 70% ready, 80%, or mas mahigit pa sa 90% na ready, no? Para po sa ating nalalapit na examination. And of course, tonight, we are going to have our final coaching one for Team Skinner. Umpisa na po ng ating final coaching. Of course, parang kailan lang nang tayo nagsimula with our orientation. Ngayon po, we are already towards the end of our preparation for your upcoming licensure exam for teachers. Now, on your screen, no, you can see the class schedule for this week. Okay, so dyan po, bukas meron po tayong study file for Team Skinner. Ang study file po, this is going to be 100 items for your quizzes at open po siya, dire-diretso po, pwede nyo po siyang sagutin until you master it. Okay, so wala pong limit, the number of times that you can continue answering it. And of course, hanggang sa ma-master nyo po. That means hanggang sa makakuha po kayo ng 100%. This, of course, is exclusive for the members of Team Skinner. No? So bukas po, study file 1. And yung atin naman pong members ng Team Pavlov, that is going to be our group for March of next year, magkakaroon na po tayo ng ating refresher program. No? Bukas po yung simula ng inyong refresher with, of course, our viral summa cum laude na si Coach June. Now, by Wednesday, final coaching 2 for Team Skinner. That's still with Coach June. Thursday po, study file 2 for Team Skinner. That's through your quizzes, through your email address. And of course, makakasama natin dalawang summa cum laude on Thursday. We have Coach Jake, who is not just a summa cum laude, but also a let-up notcher, together, of course, with Coach June. No? So that's still for Team Pavlov, our March group, March 2024 na let group. And of course, sa Friday po, we have our top 1, SPLE March 2023. That, of course, is Coach Toto for your final coaching 3, all about math. No? Then Saturday, and this should have been Sunday. No? Saturday and Sunday, of course, we are still going to continue your pre-board discussion for your majorship. Okay? So, again, dire-diretso po yung ating paghahanda. Wala pong papalagpasin na araw because, of course, we are already pressed on time. Malapit na po yung ating licensure exam for teachers. So again, if you are still not a member of Team Skinner, pwede pa rin po kayong humabol. Magpa-member kayo as a full member. Balikan lahat ng ating videos, lahat ng ating files, or pwede din naman sa ating final coaching na group, no, para makasali po kayo sa ating full discussion of our final coaching. Okay, that's for Team Skinner. And of course, sa Team Pavlov po, we still have 50 slots for the first 300 na members na makaka-receive ng 50% discount. No? So for any of your questions, just send a message through this Facebook page. Okay, now again, if you end up top 3 sa inyong September licensure examination for teachers, you will be receiving 100,000 pesos. Top 2 would be receiving 200,000 pesos. Of course, top 1 would be receiving 300,000 pesos from Gurong Pinoy. And so, members of Team Skinner, wag lamang pong papasa sa let, magtatap pa po tayo sa let, dire-diretso yung ating paghahanda. And as I have mentioned, this is final coaching 1, no? Final coaching day 1. We will be talking about science tonight, of 41 items all about science. Kindly like, love, share our video, start a watch party, tag your friends, and of course, you can also send your support by sending us stars on Facebook, super chat, super stickers naman po sa ating YouTube channel. Again, mag-like, love, and share na po ng ating video. We will be starting in a few minutes. Good evening, Coach Algin, no? Isa sa ating mga LPTs, of course, isa sa ating mga former students. At ngayon, of course, ay coach natin sa General Science. Okay? Ma'am Meg, how about yung final coaching na enrollees? Where can we get the study file? Ma'am Klingtan, once you have joined the group po, no, if you're a member of our final coaching group, once you have joined our group, meron pong welcome message and it states that you have to complete the Google form. Meron po tayong Google form dyan sa ating featured section. So you need to complete the Google form para po makuha namin yung inyong pong email address. Okay? So kompletuhin po yung ating Google form later. All right, good evening sa inyong lahat. We will start after our opening prayer. So samahan niyo po ako sa ating opening prayer, mga kaguro. Dear Lord, I come to you to ask for your guidance and direction in this study session. I ask that the Holy Spirit fill me with strength, creativity, and understanding to get through my studies without difficulty or sin. Help me hold my focus and attention. Help me to retain all that I learned. Please make my mind sharp and keep distractions at bay. If any part of my studying is weak or lacking in some way, let it be revealed so that I may correct it. Thank you for this opportunity to learn. Amen. All right, now once again, this is Final Coaching Day 1, LPT 2023, Manifesting. Sabi ni Ma'am Noeline Adolfo, tayong lahat po ay magiging LPTs before this year ends, no? So, dire-diretso po yung ating pagre-review. Maraming salamat for tagging your friends, Ma'am Janeth Basco. Again, please make sure that you have liked, love, and of course, shared our video. Ma'am Patricia Cabrera, good evening po, Ma'am Mek. First time joining live session. And all last July, hinabol po lahat ng videos dito sa group. Excited for tonight's lecture? Okay, if you are ready, I am. Let us all start with question number 1. Okay, number 1. Which of the following are the components of fungal cell wall? Is it letter A, nucleotides, proteins, and sugar? Letter B, lipids, proteins, and sugar? Letter C, cellulose, lipids, and nucleic acids? Or letter D, chitins, proteins, and sugar? What do you think is the right choice for question number 1? Okay, this is a very common LET question, a LET item sa inyo pong Gen Ed. At hindi lamang sa Gen Ed, of course, sa ating pong General Science major. Okay, so what do you think is the right choice? We are looking for the components of the fungal cell wall ng ating fungus. No? Fungus of course is singular. Ang plural po ay po pwedeng i-pronounce as fungi and fungi. No? Tayong mga Pilipino, we usually pronounce it as fungi, but the Americans will pronounce it as fungi. Okay, so fungi or fungi po pwede po. Ang hinahanap natin, ano nga ba yung components ng ating cell wall ng ating fungus. Okay? Is it letter A, nucleotides, proteins, and sugar? Letter B, lipids, proteins, and sugar? Letter C, cellulose, lipids, and nucleic acids? Or letter D, chitins, proteins, and sugar? I see a lot of letter D sa ating comment box. And of course, letter D ang ating pong tumpak na choice. Okay? Fungal cell wall is made up of chitins, proteins, and sugar. Okay? So as you can see here in our illustration, this one is a fungus and its cell wall is made up of proteins. Ayan po yung proteins ninyo. May glucans, no? Your glucans, glucose or sugar. Then of course, you have your chitin. Okay? So chitin is a form of polysaccharide, no? So malaking carbohydrate yung inyo pong chitin. Okay? So your choice here would be letter D, tumpak, sabi ng nakararami, no? So tumpak, letter D po ang ating hinahanap na choice. Now, this item, medyo packed siya, no? Marami tayong pag-uusapan. Medyo madugo itong ating item because unang-una, kailangan natin pag-usapan yung iba't ibang bahagi ng cells, ang pagkakaiba ng inyong animal cell at ang inyong plant cell. And of course, you also need to talk about your biomolecules, your macromolecules, your proteins, your carbohydrates, your lipids, and your nucleic acids. No? So let's take a look at your slide. Okay, so here, you have the differences between your plant cell and animal cell, no? So, when you are talking about a cell, di po ba, pag merong question sa let ninyo, what is the basic unit of structure and function in an organism? Pag sinabi mo pong organism, ang ibig sabihin po ay living thing, di ba? So, basic unit of structure and function in an organism, your answer would be the cell. Now, if you are going to take a plant cell and an animal cell and you try to compare them, ano nga ba yung mga pagkakaiba at ano yung kanilang pagkakaparehas, no? So unahin natin yung kanila pong pagkakaparehas dito po sa gitna. As you can see in our Venn diagram. Unang-una, meron po silang ribosomes, no? Yung ribosomes po, napakalaki ng bahagi ng ribosome sa ating cells dahil ang function po ng ribosomes ay ang paggawa ng proteins. Okay? So the ribosomes make proteins. Gumagawa ng protina yung ating ribosomes. At ang ribosomes po, nakikita natin ito sa ating sa loob ng nucleus, no? Nakikita mo siya specifically sa nucleolus na nakikita mo inside the nucleus. Okay? So that's the ribosome. Now next, both of them would have the endoplasmic reticulum. Ang endoplasmic reticulum po, ito ay daluyan ng mga materials, no? Daluyan ng mga substances galing sa inyong nucleus papunta sa inyong cytoplasm. Okay? So that's your endoplasmic reticulum. Sa ating po mga science majors, pinag-uusapan din po natin kung ano yung pagkakaiba ng dalawang klase ng inyong endoplasmic reticulum kasi meron ka pong rough endoplasmic reticulum, at meron ka ding smooth ER, no? Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Yung unang-una pong pagkakaiba ng rough ER at smooth ER is that yung rough ER mo, meron po siyang ribosomes. And so, kaya siya tinawag na rough ER because if you try to check it under the microscope, it would look rough, okay? Because of the presence of your ribosomes, parang may bulutong, no? Yung inyong rough ER. Ang smooth ER naman, smooth ER siya dahil wala siyang ribosomes. Now, another difference is in their function. Dahil nga merong ribosomes ang inyong rough ER, yung function niya is also to make proteins. Okay? Gumagawa din po siya ng proteins just like your ribosomes. Ang smooth ER mo naman, gumagawa siya ng alin? Gumagawa po siya ng lipids. Okay? Another function of your smooth ER, maliban sa paggawa ng lipids, siya din po ay nagde-detoxify ng inyong cells. Now, kinukuha niya lahat ng toxins, lahat ng lason sa inyong cell. Okay? So that's your endoplasmic reticulum, the rough ER, and the smooth ER. Daluyan na mga materials, no, from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Ang rough ER is for making of proteins. Ang smooth ER is for making of lipids and for detoxification. Now next, okay, next common component is plasma membrane. Now your plasma membrane is also called the cell membrane. Okay, so sa ating question kanina, cell membrane, no, yung ginamit na term. Parehas lamang po sila, plasma membrane or cell membrane. Now you have to take note that all types of cells would have plasma membrane. No? Lahat po ng cells may plasma membrane. So kumbaga ito po yung plasma membrane ng inyong animal cell. Para siyang boundary, para siyang pader. Kung ang inyong cell po ay isang bahay or isang building, no, yung pader niya, that would be the plasma membrane. And so the function of your plasma membrane is to control what goes in and out of the cell. Okay? That's your plasma membrane. Golgi apparatus. Sa iba pong sources, ito po ay tinatawag na Golgi body or Golgi complex kasi ipinangalan po siya sa nagdiskubre, no, na si Camilo Golgi. Okay? So ang function naman po ng inyong Golgi apparatus, para po siyang gift wrapping section sa cell. Okay? So gift wrapping section sa cell, unang-una yung ginagawa niya is it sorts the materials. Now, hinihiwalay niya lahat ng materials na gagamitin inside the cell at lahat ng materials na gagamitin outside of the cell. No? So it sorts the materials. Next one, it modifies the materials. Kung merong kulang at merong dapat dagdagan, no? Minomodify siya ng Golgi apparatus. And of course, for those materials that will be used outside outside of the cell, the Golgi apparatus would also pack them. Okay? So pinapack niya. And may parte ang inyong Golgi apparatus na mapipigtas, na mapipinch off. You'd call that the vesicles. Okay? So kumbaga yung vesicles mo, yan yung nilalagyan ng lahat ng materials for transport. Kaparte siya ng inyong Golgi apparatus, pero during the time that a material would be transported, napipigtas po ang inyong vesicle. Okay? So that's your Golgi apparatus, sorts, modifies, and transports materials. Okay? So para siyang gift wrapping section ng inyong cell. Now, another very, very important organelle, no? Pag sinabi mong organelle, specific component or a small organ inside the cell, one very important type of organelle is your mitochondria. Mitochondria is plural, mitochondrion po is singular. Okay? So pag sinabi mong mitochondria, usually we call this the powerhouse of the cell. Bakit powerhouse of the cell? Dahil dyan po ginagawa ang energy ng cell. No? Ang energy po ng cell ay tinatawag na ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Alam to ng ating mga science majors, no? ATP or adenosine triphosphate. At ang ating pong process, ang proseso po ng paggawa ng inyong ATP or energy in the cell would be cellular respiration. Okay, cellular respiration is the process. It happens in the mitochondria of the cell. We call this the powerhouse of the cell because it makes the power or the energy of the cell in the form of your ATP or your adenosine triphosphate. Okay, next one. Okay, next part po, very, very important too. Ito usually tinatanong sa LET, no? Yung inyong nucleus. What is the nucleus? Yung kadalasan pong tanong sa inyong licensure exam for teachers, this is the brain of the cell. Which among the following organelles is the brain of the cell? Utak ng inyong cell, no? And your answer would be the nucleus. Bakit siya tinatawag na utak ng cell or brain of the cell? Because it controls all the functions inside the cell. So kumbaga, yung nucleus nyo po, if you would imagine that the cell is the Philippines, the nucleus is like the president of the country. No? If you would imagine that the cell is a school, the nucleus is like the school principal. Okay? So, siya yung nagmamando, siya yung nagde-decide, no, ng kung anong magaganap, mangyayari inside the cell. Now, another very important function of your nucleus is that it contains the genetic information. It contains the genetic material of your cell. No? Ano nga ba yung, ito, no, very common question din dito sa LET, wala dito sa ating slide. What do you call the genetic molecule inside the cell? Pakilagay nga po dyan sa ating comment box. Ano nga ba yung tinatawag nating genetic material in the cell? Okay, control center of the cell, sabi ni Facebook user, tama po, no? Ano yung ating genetic information or genetic material or genetic molecule inside the cell? Ayon, very good. Hi, si Toto KBL, nanonood si Coach Toto. Hello po, good evening. Sabi ni Coach Toto, DNA. Tama po yan, Coach Toto. Kaya nga naging top 1 si Coach Toto. No? So DNA, or this is also called deoxyribonucleic acid. No? Ribonucleic acid, that's your DNA. No? So yung inyo pong DNA, that's the genetic information inside the cell. Ito po yung pinapasa from parents to offspring. From parents to anak. Kaya ikaw ay kamukha ng inyong nanay or kamukha ng inyong tatay or kamukha ng lolo, combination ng nanay at tatay, hindi ka magiging kamukha ng kumpare ng tatay mo, di ba? Hindi ka pwede maging kamukha ng inyong kapitbahay unless relative mo yung inyong kapitbahay, no? Because it is the DNA or the deoxyribonucleic acid, the genes that would control how you look like and the rest of your physical characteristic. No? So the genes po, the DNA, these can all be found in the nucleus of the cell. Okay, so the brain of the cell, that's the nucleus. It also contains your DNA, very common item sa ating pong licensure exam for teachers. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the differences. No? This is your plant cell. This right here is your animal cell. No? So ano nga ba yung pagkakaiba? Unang-una, ang plant cell mo po may cell wall. Ang cell wall ng inyong plant cell, no, if this is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane, no, meron pa siyang secondary layer. Kumbaga meron siyang pangalawang boundary and you call this the cell wall. No? Now, ang cell wall po ng inyong plant cell, lumalabas ito sa left, no, ilagay sa inyong notebook. The component of the plant cell wall is cellulose. Cellulose, ito po yung cellulose, ito. Ayan, no? So cellulose, ito naman po yung component ng inyong plant cell wall. No? So hindi po chitins. Kung chitins po yung sa ating fungal cell wall, sa inyong po plant cell, the component would be cellulose. No? So carbohydrate din ang inyong cellulose. Parang katulad din siya ng chitin. No? Carbohydrate din siya. It's a polysaccharide. Okay? So cellulose cell wall. Merong cellulose cell wall, yung inyong plant cell. Ang animal cell, wala pong cell wall. Okay? Another important component ng inyong pong plant cell na wala sa inyong animal cell is the central vacuole. Ang vacuole po, ang function nito ay ang pag-hold ng tubig. Okay? So, siya po ay nag-hold ng tubig, ng crystals, some other materials inside the cell. No? So, sa ating plant cell, tinatawag po siyang central vacuole because it would occupy the center of the cell. Okay? So, nakikita po siyang malaking-malaki. Andyan po siya sa gitna ng inyong plant cell. Hence the term central vacuole. Now, another component that you can only find in your plant cell, not in animal cell, are your chloroplasts. Ayan po yung chloroplast. Na yung chloroplast nyo, ito po yung may green pigment sa inyong plants. No? Yung green pigment, of course, tinatawag natin siyang chlorophyll. Yung chlorophyll nyo, siya po yung kumukuha ng solar energy, ng sun's energy, para po pagganahin at para po gamitin sa photosynthesis. Remember photosynthesis? The process through which your plant cells make food. Okay? They make their own food. All right? So your chloroplast is the site for photosynthesis. Mitochondria naman is the site for your cellular respiration. Okay? So sana po klaro tayo. Ang tatlong components na to, cellulose cell wall, central vacuole, and chloroplasts can only be found in your plant cell, not in your animal cell. Now, ano naman yung nasa animal cell, no? Ang animal cell mo, although it can also have a vacuole, maliit siya, okay? Or sometimes wala nga siyang vacuole. As compared to the central vacuole, malaking vacuole talaga yung nasa plant cell mo. Kasi nga, kailangan niya mag-ipon ng tubig, no? So, para siyang jar, para siyang water jug, no? So, nilalagyan siya ng tubig sa inyong plant cell wall. Sa animal cell mo, walang vacuole or kung meron man, maliliit po ito. Next one, centrioles and centrosomes. Ang centrioles mo, para po siyang macaroni. Hindi ko makita dito, no? Parang wala dito sa ating pong illustration. Pero yung itsura po niya ay parang macaroni, no? So, dalawang pares siya ng macaroni. At ang inyong pong centrioles ay nagiging source ng inyong spindle fiber. Yung ginagamit siya kapag ka mag-divide na yung inyong animal cell. Okay? So, that's the centrioles. It is used as the source of the spindle fiber during cellular division. And lastly, your animal cells would have flagella. No? Wala din yung flagella sa ating drawing. Yung flagella po ay parang tail. Para siyang buntot, no? So, usually, yung function ng inyong flagella is for movement, for locomotion. Think of your animal cells such as your sperm cell. Kaya po nakakagalaw yung sperm cell, kaya nagkakaroon ng mga bata, no? Kaya nakakapag-reproduce yung humans because of the flagella or flagellum of your sperm cells. Now, it's for locomotion. Remember, your sperm cells need to be active and need to be robust, no? So dapat strong siya, robust, gumagalaw siya para po makapag-fertilize siya ng inyong egg cell. Okay? So flagella, yan po, ay nakikita lamang natin sa ating animal cell. Alright? So sana po naalala natin or sana maalala, no, if you are a member of Team Skinner, po pwede pong i-rewind or i-replay yung ating video later. And of course, you will have a copy of my PDF for tonight's discussion. Okay? So these are, again, the differences between your plant cell and your animal cell, and the common things are found in the middle. Okay? if you are Gen Sci major, no, at baka po merong tanong na which among the following organelles can you find in all types of cells? Alin sa mga organelles na to ang makikita mo sa lahat ng klase ng cells? Your answer would be the ribosomes, the plasma membrane, and mitochondria. Okay, tandaan po, all cells would have ribosomes, all cells would have plasma membrane, and all cells would have mitochondria. Now, we have mentioned that the nucleus holds, no? Yung nucleus mo po would hold the DNA, the genetic material inside the cell. Now, what if your cell is a prokaryotic cell, no? Pag sinabi mo pong prokaryotic cell, wala siyang nucleus. What would you call the area where you can find the genetic information or genetic material in a prokaryotic cell? This is also a common question in your LET. What would you call the area in your prokaryotic cell where you find the genetic material? Ayan, sabi ni Facebook user, nucleoid region. Tama po, okay? So nucleoid region ang ating pong magiging sagot, no? If the question is about your prokaryotic cell at tinatanong saan mo makikita yung DNA, genetic information, genetic material sa inyong prokaryotic cell, since wala siyang nucleus, the answer would be you would find that in your nucleoid region. Nakikita niyo po yan sa inyong screen right now. Maraming salamat, Facebook user. Kaya lang hindi ko po nakikita yung inyong name. Okay, we move on to our next slide. Medyo madugo. Hindi pa po tayo tapos sa question number 1. Ito naman. Never mind na lang po itong drawing dito, no, sa gitna, at baka magka-nosebleed na po tayo. No? Let's talk about your biomolecules kasi may mention ng different biomolecules sa ating item kanina. No? Pag sinabi mo pong biomolecules, di po ba? Ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng bio? Ano nga yung ibig sabihin ng bio? Pakilagay po sa ating comment box. What is the meaning of the term bio or of the prefix bio? Yes, this would be recorded. Ayan, sabi ni Facebook user, maraming Facebook users, at sabi ni Sir Carlos Sibog Life. Okay, so when you say biomolecules here, ito po yung mga molecules na nagsusustain ng ating life, or these are the molecules that keep us all alive, no? The molecules that make us all living. Okay, so these here are the 4 biomolecules. If you don't find biomolecules sa inyo pong licensure exam for teachers, ginagamit din po ng LET ang term na macromolecules. So macro means big. Okay, so these are the big molecules. Biomolecules are macromolecules. And here, we have 4 types. Now, carbohydrates, your proteins, your nucleic acids, and your lipids. All right. Tinatanong ng LET, okay, makinig. Isa sa mga common questions ng LET, especially sa Gen Sci at maaari po sa inyong Gen Ed, no? Ano yung monomer ng iba't ibang klase ng inyong biomolecules? Pag sinabi mo pong monomer, these are the building blocks, okay? So if you are thinking of your biomolecules as a big building, ano yung tawag mo sa kada isang kwarto, no? So what do you call the monomer? The monomer or the basic unit of structure of function and structure ng inyong biomolecule. Okay? So for your carbohydrate, ang monomer po niya ay monosaccharides. Monosaccharides ang monomer ng inyong pong carbohydrate. Another term for your monosaccharide is simple sugar. Okay? Pag walang monosaccharide sa inyong pong licensure exam for teachers, hanapin po ang simple sugar. That's the monomer of your carbohydrates. No? Monomer ng inyong proteins, no? Yung inyong protina, ito po, common question sa LET. What is the monomer of the proteins, or what are the building blocks of proteins? Very common item po ito sa LET. Your answer would be amino acid. Okay? Amino acid. Now, for your nucleic acids, the monomers are called nucleotides. Okay? Nucleotides naman po para sa inyong nucleic acids. At para po sa inyong lipids, you have fatty acids and glycerol. Okay? So, 3 fatty acids at isang glycerol. Yan po yung building blocks or monomers ng inyong lipids. Now, for the second row here, you have the different examples. Now, carbohydrates mo, the examples for this would be starch, cellulose, chitin. These are your sugars. Okay? So, sugars po ang inyong carbohydrates. For your proteins, you have insulin, collagen, your keratin, no? Yung mga ginagamit natin sa buhok natin, sa nails natin, keratin, yung structure ng inyong muscles, no, actin and myosin, these are all proteins, okay? Proteins po yan. Nucleic acids, meron kang dalawang examples, no? DNA and RNA. We've already mentioned DNA kanina, okay? Then of course, for your lipids, you have fats, oils, and waxes. These are all the examples. Now, elements, ito po, tinatanong ito ng LET, no? Ang inyong carbohydrates at lipids, parehas po yung kanilang elements, CHO. CHO. Parehas lamang po. Yung pagkakaiba lamang ay mas malaking molecule itong inyong lipids at meron siyang double bonds. Okay? So, kumbaga, mas mahirap tunawin ang lipids kaysa sa inyong carbohydrates. Di po nga ba, parehas din sila ng function, no? Yung inyong carbohydrates, this is a quick source of energy. Quick source of energy. Ang lipids mo naman is stored energy. Okay? So, source din siya ng energy, pero storage, no, ng energy kasi mas concentrated siya, kumbaga mas packed siya, mas mahirap siyang tunawin, okay? Now, parehas po sila ng elements or ng components. Ang proteins mo, meron siyang carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur, okay? So pag meron pong question about sulfur, your answer would be proteins. Now, kunwari yung question sa LET, which among the following biomolecules has sulfur as one of its components? Your answer would be proteins. No? The rest of your biomolecules, wala pong sulfur except for proteins. Now, for your nucleic acids naman, siya po yung merong phosphorus. Okay? So, meron naman siyang phosphorus. Tandaan po yan, no? And of course, again, sa members ng ating Team Skinner, you can easily download our PDF later. Okay, so for functions naman, I have mentioned yung function ng inyong carbohydrate at lipids, halos magkaparehas. Your carbohydrates would just be a quick source of energy. Lipids mo naman stored energy. Aside from being a stored energy, ang lipid mo is also for insulation. So kapag meron kang fats, meron kang maraming lipids sa inyong katawan, asset mo yan, no? Hindi ka ginawin. Yung mga friends nating ginawin, that means kulang sila sa lipids, no? Sa kanilang katawan. Because lipids also acts for insulation. And of course, component po siya ng ating cellular membrane, ng ating cell membrane, and many of our hormones in the body as humans is lipid, no? Or are lipid-based, okay? So those are some functions of your lipids. Sa proteins mo naman po, one important function of your protein is that it is a component of your enzyme. Remember, pag sinabi mo pong enzyme, Genzyme major, no? Pag sinabi mo pong enzyme, this usually is a biological catalyst. Ito yung mga nagpapabilis ng function inside our body at ng mga proseso sa loob ng ating katawan, no? Yan pong tinatawag nating enzymes. It is also for structural movement, and also some of our defense hormones are made up of proteins, okay? And lastly, for your nucleic acids, they would store genetic information, especially your DNA. DNA would store genetic information. Ang RNA mo po, very important siya for making of proteins, okay? So again, these are the different biomolecules. Ayan, science and math nakakadugo. Okay lang po yan, kayang-kaya po yan. Alright, so sana po ay klaro na. We have just talked about the different parts of your cell, the differences between your plant cell and your animal cell, the different types of biomolecules, okay? Including their monomers or building blocks, their functions, their elements, no? And also the different examples, okay? So, question number 1 pa lang po yan. Let's go to question number 2. Yes, this is going to be recorded for those of you who are asking, no, the members of Team Skinner na babalikan yung ating video. Okay, number 2. Humans reproduce when an ovum is combined with sperm, leading to the development of an embryo. This form of reproduction is called letter A, propagation, letter B, fertilization, letter C, abortion, or letter D, grafting. Okay? What is our choice? Number 2. I see a lot of letter B's for question number 2. Alright, now ang ovum po natin dito, this is another term for your egg cell. Okay, so another term po ito sa ating egg cell. And of course, sabi sa ating question, humans reproduce when an ovum, your egg cell, is combined with sperm, leading to the development of an embryo. This form of reproduction is of course called fertilization. Okay, so fertilization, tumpak. Wow, expert kayo sa fertilization na. Letter B, fertilization ang ating tumpak na choice. Now, propagation would be usually done, it is a term usually used for plants, di ba? Yung mga plantito-plantita natin, no, magpapa-propagate ako ng maraming ganitong klase ng plant, no? Grafting mo, this is also a type of asexual reproduction that we use in plants, di ba? Nag-graft ka, kino-combine mo yung mature part ng plant and yung immature, no, yung young part ng plant. Abortion, of course, when you say abortion, this is the stopping of pregnancy, no? Pag-stop ng pregnancy po, pwedeng accidental, what you'd call miscarriage, di ba? Kapag ka nakunan yung isang babae, that would be accidental abortion or miscarriage, or po pwede din naman na deliberate. Okay, so po pwede din naman na sadya, no? Pina-abort niya talaga yung bata. And of course, that is a mortal sin, so wag pong gagawin. Okay, so letter B, fertilization ang ating hinahanap. And common items sa let nyo, where does fertilization in humans happen? Saan? Okay, ano po yung inyong magiging choice or ang inyong magiging sagot? If the question is, where does fertilization in humans occur or happen? What will be your answer? In vitro? Okay, the correct choice there would be, sabi ni Ma'am, ayun, ni Facebook user, no? Sabi ni Facebook user, fallopian tube. Okay? So fallopian tube po ang site ng inyong fertilization. Hindi po sa uterus at hindi din po sa ovary. Okay? Again, fallopian tube ang inyong magiging sagot. If the question is, where does fertilization happen? No? Where does fertilization occur in humans? Your answer would be the fallopian tube. Okay, so here is our illustration. No? So let's take a look at the different parts. Of course, this is the reproductive system of females, di ba? So here you have the ovaries. Meron kang dalawang ovaryo, no? Or ovary. And of course, ang function po ng inyong ovary is to make your egg cells, no? So paggawa ng egg cells, yan po yung function ng ating ovary. Now, one very, very interesting fact is that yung tayong mga babae, no, meron pong limit sa ating number of ovary, not number of ovary, sorry, number of egg cells. Habang tayo po ay nasa sinapupunan pa lamang ng ating mga nanay, habang tayo ay fetus pa lamang po, meron na tayong egg cells. Okay? It's very interesting. Dahil meron na po tayong egg cells, baby pa lamang tayo, fetus pa lamang tayo sa uterus, no, ng ating po mga nanay, as female, meron na po tayong egg cells sa ating ovary. Kaya lang, ang egg cells na nandyan po ay hindi pa mature, no? So hintayin yung ating sexual development when you have your first menstruation, di ba? Yung tinatawag nating menarche, saka po magiging mature yung ating mga egg cell. Kaya nga sinasabi nila na may hihirapan ka na magbuntis kapag ka ikaw ay may edad na. Kasi po may limit yung ating egg cells, no? So ito lamang yung egg cells na meron ka nung ikaw ay nasa sinapupunan pa lang ng inyong nanay. Once na ubos na yung egg cells na yan at hindi ka pa nakapag-asawa, no, maaaring hindi ka na magkaroon ng anak or maaaring mahirapan ka na. But of course, we're not saying that having a child defines a woman, di ba? So iba-iba din naman yung role natin, satisfaction, glory natin as women, no? So this is just a scientific fact that I'm trying to share with you, okay? So may limit po ang ating kumbaga pagiging fertile as women. Okay, so function ng inyong ovary is to make your egg cell. The process is called oogenesis. Oogenesis. Now, ito po yung iba't ibang bahagi ng inyong female reproductive system. Of course, you see these dots right here, no, na may buntot, na may tail. Ito yung tinatawag nating flagellum or flagella kanina sa ating animal cell. That, of course, is your sperm cell. Okay? So, nabanggit natin kanina, dapat po yung sperm cell ay malakas, dapat po yung sperm cell ay maliksi, kasi yung sperm cell po, kailangan niya mag-travel from the outside, no? Going inside, dadaanan niya itong cervix, the uterus, until the fallopian tube. Ito po yung fallopian tube. So, dyan po kailangang emit ng sperm cell ng tatay ang egg cell ng nanay, hindi po sa ovary. Okay? So, dito po sa fallopian tube. Now, once the egg cell has been fertilized by a sperm cell, remember, it only takes one sperm cell for an egg cell to be fertilized. Kaya nga ikaw, no, ikaw po, dahil ikaw ay nabuo, ikaw po ay isang winner. Kasi po, nabuo ka sa pamamagitan ng isang winner na sperm cell, di ba? Siya yung champion sperm cell. Siya yung pinakamalakas lumangoy, di ba? Siya yung nauna sa race ng life, di ba? Sa race niya, papunta sa egg cell. Okay? So once the egg cell has been fertilized by your sperm cell, now you have a zygote, di ba? So meron ka ng zygote. That zygote needs to move into the uterus. Ito po yung uterus, no? Para siyang inverted triangle. This, of course, is a very special part of the female reproductive system because the uterus po ay flexible. Okay? So, flexible siya, lumalaki siya as the baby also grows. Okay? So, hindi po pwede na nandyan lang siya sa fallopian tube. Yung inyong pong zygote or ang inyong embryo, dapat po ay lumipat siya sa inyong uterus. Kasi yung uterus lamang po ang flexible or elastic, no, na parte ng female reproductive system. Kapag po nagstay ang fertilized egg cell dito po sa fallopian tube, hindi po pwede, no? You'd call that ectopic pregnancy. Yan po yung tinatawag nating ectopic pregnancy. And so what happens is that kailangan pong operahan yung nanay, kukunin niya, no, i-abort yung bata kasi hindi po siya mabubuhay. And it can also cause death to the nanay, no, once this one ruptures, kapag ka ito ay ano bang rupture sa Tagalog, no, kapag ka ito po ay pumutok dahil hindi po flexible katulad ng uterus yung inyong fallopian tube. Okay? So now the baby is in the fallopian tube. Ito naman po ang tinatawag nating cervix. Okay? So the cervix here, this is the neck of the uterus, and of course ito po yung mini-measure ng doktor kapag ka ikaw ay ready ng mga anak, no? Yung tinitingnan kung dilated na yung inyong cervix. And of course, eventually, the bata, no? Yung bata or your child would be born through vaginal, no? Yung natural birth, or it might also be CS. No? Po pwede naman cesarean section kapag ka, if there is any circumstance that would prevent the mother from having a natural childbirth. Now, ako po, dalawa yung anak ko, dalawang CS din ako. Okay? So again, sana po naintindihan, fertilization po ang ating hinahanap. Okay? Ano po? Ano yung comment? Sir Carlos Sibog, ano yung comment po na sana baka mabasa ko? Alright, so again, number 2, fertilization is the right choice. We go to question number 3. A child at the top of a slide, a ripe guava, before it falls, a yo-yo. Before it is released are examples of potential blank energy. Letter A, gravitational. Letter B, electrical. Letter C, mechanical. Or letter D, chemical. What is our choice? Ayun, ano yung gagawin sa may PCOS? Polycystic, di ba? Polycystic po yung ibig sabihin ng PC, no, sa PCOS. That means marami siyang cyst, maraming bukol, no, sa kanyang ovary. Usually, kapag po pwede naman siyang gamutin through hormones, pwede, or meron din namang cases na ino-opera, no, na sa surgery. Meron po tayong live sa Team Skinner, Ma'am Shalette Cañete. Meron po sa Team Skinner. All right, what is our choice for question number 3? Also a very common question in the LET. Ayun, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Maraming cyst, no? Maraming bukol sa ovary. Okay, what is our choice? Ayan, sabi ni Sir Sylvan, ayan, lumabas po ito, ayun. Lumabas ito noong March 19, okay? So remember, all the items that we are giving you are all legit let items. And so hindi po kayo mahihirapang mag-take ng let because the items are all going to be familiar, okay? What is our choice? Ayan, sabi ni Sir Toto KBL, doon ka mamanood sa Team Skinner para hindi maputol. Okay, sabi ni Sir Toto. And of course, Sir Toto po, makakasama niyo po siya for math on Friday. Hello, Ma'am Marivic Maluyan. Hello po, good evening. Okay, I see a lot of letter A's. Okay, letter A. Ayan, lumabas din yan. Sabi ni Facebook user, lumabas din yan last October. Okay, so very common item sa inyong let. A child at the top of a slide, a ripe guava before it falls, a yo-yo before it is released are examples of, the correct choice here is letter A, gravitational potential, gravitational energy. Let's take a look at your explanation. So ito po yung ating iba't ibang uri ng energy. Meron ka pong two major types, kinetic energy and potential energy. Usually tinatawag natin yung kinetic energy na energy of motion. Ito po yung klase ng energy na meron yung mga bagay na gumagalaw or yung mga bagay na ginagamit. Okay, sana all ginagamit, di ba? Kinetic energy, the energy of motion. Okay, so for things that are moving or for things that are being used. Now, the other type of energy is potential energy. Ang potential energy po, hindi pa siya ginagamit, no? Potential pa lang. Andyan pa siya, stored energy. Okay, stored energy, or sometimes the terms that we use is energy of position. Okay, so energy of motion, ang kinetic energy, while potential energy is energy of position or stored energy. Now, unahin natin yung potential energy, yung hindi pa gumagalaw, hindi pa nagagamit. Unang-una, ito yung hinahanap natin, gravitational potential energy. Ito po yung sagot natin kanina because gravitational potential energy or GPE, ito po usually yung meron tayo sa isang bagay na nakahang, no? Sa isang bagay na nakataas. So here, no, you have your example, a child at the top of a slide, a ripe guava before it falls, no? So nakataas sila. A yo-yo before it is released, no? So yung mga bagay na nakataas, nakahang, they would have gravitational potential energy. Your elastic energy, no, it's also a type of potential energy. Ito po yung meron yung isang bagay na nakastretch. Okay, so that's your elastic energy. Nuclear energy is a type of energy that you can find in the nucleus of your atom, no? So nucleus ng inyong atom. Chemical energy, usually you'd find this common item sa let, no? Yung chemical energy mo nasa battery, nasa food, okay? If you have two choices, merong potential at merong chemical, choose chemical because of course chemical is more specific dahil klase na siya ng potential energy. It's a more specific choice, no? So usually yung items or your examples that you can find in the let would be food and your battery, no? Chemical energy po sila. And of course, you also have electric potential energy. Ito yung mga nasa charges mo, okay? So charge, negative charge or positive charge. That would be electric potential energy. Now, here naman sa kinetic energy mo na energy of motion, those things that are moving or those things that are already in use, you have motion energy, no? Or sometimes you also can call this mechanical energy, motion energy, mechanical energy. You also have sound energy, thermal energy, that's heat, radiant energy, that's solar, no? Solar energy mo, the energy coming from the sun, and electrical energy for those things that are using electricity. Okay, so common item then or common question din siya sa let. Pag nakita nyo po mechanical energy, this would pertain to machines, okay? Objects that are moving, that's mechanical energy. Now they're using mechanical energy. For number 3 po, letter A, yung ating hinahanap, gravitational or gravitational potential energy or potential gravitational energy. Okay, so letter A, For number 3, we go to number 4. An atom of silicon has a mass number of 28 and an atomic number of 14. How many protons are in this atom? Letter A, 7. Letter B, 12. Letter C, 14. Or letter D, 28. What is our choice? Okay, what is your choice for number 4? Hello, good evening sa mga na-late. Habol po, nasa number 4 pa lamang po tayo. But of course, if you are a member of our group, po pwede pong balikan, po pwede pong i-replay, no? And of course, you can download the file later. If you will be taking the LET in March next year, we still have some slots para po sa ating 50% off. So mag-send lamang po kayo ng message dito po sa ating Facebook page. Okay, what is our choice? Number 4. Number 4, I see letter C's. Letter C's. For question number 4, an atom of silicon has a mass number of 28, atomic number of 14. How many protons are in this atom? The correct choice here is letter C. Tama po yung letter C. Let's take a look at your explanation, di ba? You have 3 different subatomic particles. Na pag sinabi mo pong atom, di ba? Pag nakita mo yung term na atom, this is the basic unit of matter. Kapag ka sinabi mo pong matter, di ba, yung elementary definition natin ng matter is anything that occupies space and has mass, or anything that has volume and has mass is matter. And basically, everything around us is matter, no? So when you say atom, it's a basic unit of matter. All types of matter is made up of atoms, several atoms. Okay, now, if you try to check an atom, yung atom po, meron pa siyang subcomponents, no? So ito yung tinatawag nating subatomic particles. Now, you have 3 types for this: the electron, the proton, and the neutron. Meron po silang mga pagkakaiba. Unang-unang pagkakaiba is in their charge. So yung electron mo po is negatively charged. Yung proton mo po ay positively charged at ang neutron mo is neutral. Okay? So electron, negative, proton, positive, and neutron is neutral. Another difference is that meron din silang difference in the location. Okay? Ang inyong proton at neutron ay nakikita po sa gitna ng inyong atom. You call this part here the nucleus. Okay? The nucleus of your atom. Para din siyang cell, no? Meron din po siyang nucleus. So in the nucleus of your atom, if you are asked in the lab, which among the following subatomic particles can you find in the nucleus of your atom? And your choices are letter A, proton, letter B, electron, letter C, neutron, letter D, A and C. No, both A and C. And so your answer would be letter D, di ba? Both the protons and the neutrons are found in the nucleus of your atom. Now, yung electron mo naman po, wala siya sa nucleus, no? Wala siya sa gitna ng inyong atom. It can be found in what you call energy shells or electron cloud, no? Sa tatlong klase po ng inyong subatomic particles, yung pinakakiti-kiti dito would be your electrons. Yung electrons mo yung palaging gumagalaw, palaging tumatalbog, palaging tumatalsik. Kasi yung electrons mo po, these are your subatomic particles that are involved in bonding. Okay? So kung, for example, meron kang asin, di ba? The chemical formula for your asin is sodium and A plus chlorine. No? So what would form the bond between the sodium, your Na, plus chlorine na Cl, would be the electrons. Yung electrons, no, po pwede siyang i-share like in your covalent compounds, or po pwede po siyang i-transfer such as in your ionic compounds. Now, usually, hindi na ito lumalabas sa inyong lab. I hope, no, and I'm pretty sure na na-discuss ito ni Sir Algin, ni Coach Algin, sa ating mga Gen-Sci major. Okay? So, yung electron mo, yung pinakakitikiti, andyan po siya sa labas ng nucleus. Siya po yung gumagalaw, tumatalbog, nagtatransfer, na-share whenever your atoms would form bonds. Now, if you have a neutral atom, okay? Kapag yung atom mo po ay neutral, that means ang number ng electron niya, yung negative charge, at ng kanyang protons, ang positive charge should be equal. Okay? So, dapat equal, no? So, in our illustration here, meron tayong electrons na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At yung protons mo, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 din. So that means this is a neutral atom. Neutral siya. Wala siyang charge. Kapag sumobra po yung inyong electron, that means sumobra yung inyong negative charge, that would be a negatively charged atom, or you'd call this a anion, di ba? Negatively charged ion or anion. Kapag kulang naman po ang electron, no, at mas marami yung proton, so then that would be positively charged atom, positively charged ion, or sometimes you'd call this cation. Okay, cation. Now, sa question mo dito, you are given the mass number of 28 and atomic number of 14. Okay? Ang correct choice po natin, hinahanap number of protons, the number of protons here would be 14. Since neutral po yung ating atom, we would assume that the number of electrons and the protons are the same and they would be equal to your atomic number. Okay? So whatever is the atomic number, that would also be the number of protons. Okay? That would also be the number of protons. If in your question here, it states atomic number of 57, the number of protons would also be 57. Atomic number of 34, the number of protons would also be 34. Okay? So, equal yung protons mo sa yung atomic number. Okay? Punta natin yung second part ng ating discussion. No? You have the mass number and the atomic number. Okay? Ang mass number mo po, you get this from adding the protons and the neutrons. Okay? Ang inyo pong atomic number would be equal to the number of protons. Diba? So, yan. Kaya nga, atomic number 14 dito, number of protons natin would also be 14. Okay. Now, going back, no? If you will be asked dito, looking at your atom here, what would be the atomic number of this atom? This one right here. Sa ating drawing. Okay, ito sa ating illustration. What would be the atomic number of this atom? Okay, atomic number. Yes, Gen Ed. Final coaching po ito. Gen Ed. What would be the atomic number? Ayan, ayan. Sabi ni Ma'am Jen Favor, okay, atomic number of 6. Bakit 6? Because it has 6 protons, okay? So 6 protons equals atomic number of 6, okay? So again, the number of protons would just be equal to your atomic number. Now, what if the question is, what is the mass number of these atom? Ano po yung mass number ng inyong atom? Ayun, sabi ni si Ma'am ba to? Ma'am Armage Cell? Ma'am Armage Cell, ayun, 6 protons, no? Sabi ni Ma'am ang hirap Armage Cell, 6 protons, and so atomic number of 6. But now, what is the mass number? Ano po yung mass number? Ano naman yung mass number? Ayun. Meron na akong nakita. Sabi ni Sir Ariel Abadines, 12 is the mass number. Dahil nga, yung mass number mo is the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. No? So yung neutrons mo, ito yung neutral, di ba? So meron kang 6 na protons, meron ka ding 6 na neutrons, and so mass number here would be 12. Okay, so mass number would be 12. Kapag binigyan po kayo ng let ng mass number at yung question is how many neutrons are there, you would have to subtract, no? Subtract nyo yung atomic number from your mass number. Okay, so for example here, if you are given mass number of 28 and atomic number of 14, at kung yung question, no, kapag yung tanong po is what is the number of neutrons of this atom. For you to get the number of neutrons, you need to subtract 14 from 28. And so yung sagot nyo is 14 pa rin, di ba? 14 neutrons pa rin. Okay? So sana po klaro. Ito po ay lumalabas sa inyong licensure exam for teachers. So sana po maalala at sana po klaro na kapag may tanong, magtanong po. Alright, we go to number 5. Bagoong smells because letter A, air and volatile particles from bagoong mix and get spoiled further. Okay, I'm sorry, no, medyo lumundag yung ating words. Okay, letter B, that is the neutral scent of bagoong. Letter C, molecules from bagoong spread in air. Or letter D, it uses spoiled fish ingredients. Bakit mabaho ang bagoong? Yan po yung ibig sabihin ng ating tanong na bagoong smells because bakit mabaho? Bakit masangsang? Bakit natin naaamoy ang bagoong? Oh, ala, samutsari, ACD. Okay, what do you think is the right choice? ACD, yung inyong choices? Bagoong smells because naaamoy mo ang bagoong because the correct choice here is letter C. Molecules from bagoong spread in air. Okay, so the molecules of bagoong spread in the air and so you can smell it. No? Ito din yung nangyayari kung bakit kapag ka may umutot sa room, naaamoy ng lahat. Okay? Kapag ka nasa corner ang umutot, naaamoy nung kahit mga nasa harapan no, ng klase. Kapag ka may dumaan na garbage truck, kahit na malayo siya, naaamoy mo ang amoy ng basura because it's also because of this. Now, letter C, molecules from bagoong spread in air. Okay, so let's take a look at your discussion. Now, this is what you call diffusion. Diffusion po yung tawag natin dyan. Diffusion, this is the movement of materials or the movement of molecules from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Kapag ka sinabi pong concentration dito, wag pong sumakit ang ulo, no? Ang concentration po natin dito, ibig sabihin lamang ay amount. From an area na mas marami siya to an area na mas konti, no? That's diffusion for you. Katulad siya ng inyong experiment sa science, di ba? Meron kayong experiment sa science, merong beaker na merong tubig na clear, no? Walang kulay yung tubig. Tapos nag-drop ka ng 1 drop of food coloring. Tapos you don't shake it. Hindi mo siya isi-shake, hindi mo siya imi-mix, hindi mo hahawakan ng beaker. Eventually, after a few minutes, the entire content of your beaker also turns into whatever the color of your food coloring is, no? That's still diffusion. The movement of materials from an area of high concentration, an area where there is more amount of that materials, to an area of low concentration, to an area where there's less amount of that material. Okay, now, there is a special form of diffusion that involves water molecules and you call this osmosis. Okay, so osmosis naman po, this would involve water molecules. Okay, so kapag ka may question sa let, the movement of water molecules through a semi-permeable membrane, the movement of water molecules through a membrane, for example, a fruit, no? Kunwari, meron ka mansanas, tapos nilagay mo siya sa solution, no? And something happened with the mansanas. Pupuntahan natin yan sa next slide, no? Movement of water molecules through a semi-permeable membrane, your term would be osmosis. Kapag ka may diffusion sa choices, wag pong piliin ng diffusion, piliin po osmosis because that would be more specific. Okay, so osmosis is a special type of diffusion involving water molecules. Okay, so but sa ating pong question kanina, diffusion po yung nangyari. Okay, so movement of materials from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Okay, pertaining to osmosis, eto po, lumalabas din sa let, no? Meron kang tatlong klase ng solution. Ang unang-unang klase mo ng solution, isotonic, no? When you say iso in science, this means balance. Kumbaga, ang number of solute sa inyong tubig, sa inyong solution, and the number of solute in your cell ay more or less equal. Okay? So that's in your isotonic solution. In your hypotonic, hypo sa science po, hypo means less. Okay? So less ang inyong solute, more ang inyong tubig sa inyong pong solution. Okay? Kumbaga malabnaw, malasyaw, kulang sa solute, no? Kapag pinagtimpla ka ng juice at wala ng juice, paubos na yung juice, di ba? Malasyaw na siya, malabnaw na siya, no? So that would be a hypotonic solution. Konti yung juice, maraming tubig. Okay? So hypotonic. We are pertaining to the solute, pertaining sa substance na natunaw. Mas konti yung substance na natunaw, and so mas marami yung tubig, no, sa inyong solution. Hyper naman, hyper in science means more or high, no? More or high. Kaya pag sinabi mong hyperthermia, that means meron kang fever, meron kang lagnat. Okay? So hyper means more. When you say hypertonic solution, mas marami yung inyong solute, mas marami yung particles sa inyong pinunaw, material sa inyong pinunaw, kukonti yung tubig. Okay? So ito yung concentrated mo na solution na napaka matapang ng inyong solution. Okay? Ang lumalabas po sa LET, ito po yung tinatanong sa LET na what happens if you put a cell in a hypotonic solution? Your answer is that the cell will swell. Okay? Hypo, the cell will swell. In a hypertonic solution naman, the cell will shrink. Okay? The cell will shrink in a hypertonic solution. Hypo, swell, hyper, shrink. Okay? In an isotonic solution, more or less, nothing happens. Okay? So, nothing. Walang mangyayari, no? And so ito, nangyayari po ito kapag ikaw ay nagbuburo ng inyong, say, mangga, di ba? Binuburo mo yung mangga, yung inyong, ano ba yung iba sa Tagalog, na hindi ko po alam yung iba. Yung mga binuburo natin, yung mga ginagawa natin, yung mga prutas nating binuburo, okay? So, nilalagay mo siya sa hypertonic na solution, maraming asin. Eventually, what happens is that, nag-shrink siya, di ba? Nagiging kulubot yung kanyang skin, no? So, this would also happen if you are, say, you are taking a bath sa beach, di ba? So, eventually, of course, your beach, your sea is salty water, no? It's a hypertonic solution. Eventually po, kukulubot din yung balat natin, no, especially sa ating fingers. Okay? Sa inyo namang hypotonic solution, nangyayari po ito say pag meron pong nalunod at matagal siya bago natagpuan, no? So eventually, once you find the dead body, it's already going to be swollen, okay? Kasi matagal siyang nakababad doon, di ba? So lahat na ng tubig pumasok sa kanyang katawan, okay? So again, yung tandaan po, in a hypertonic solution, the cell will shrink. In a hypotonic solution, the cell will swell. Ayun. Iba is kamyas. Tama, no? Sa kamyas and your mangga, no? Ito yung mga binuburo natin. Okay? So we place them in a hypertonic solution. And so eventually they will shrink. Okay? Hypotonic solution naman, they will swell. All right. We go to number 6. An avocado tree is planted beside a sampaguita plant in a garden demonstrates what kind of relationship? Letter A, competition. Letter B, co-optation. Letter C, predation. Or letter D, parasitism. What is our choice? Okay, what is our choice for number 6? Assalamualaikum, sabi ni Facebook user from Cotabato. Hello po, good evening sa lahat ng ating mga Muslim brothers and sisters. Good evening po. Balimbing sa Cebu? Parang iba yung balimbing. Balimbing ba yun? Parang yung balimbing yung para siyang star, di ba? Iba yung iba. Iba yung iba. Okay, number 6, letter A. I see a lot of letter A's. Ay, wow. Sabi ni Sir Ernest, Balot, Ibanez, mabuti na lang at mas pinili ko mag-review ngayong birthday ko kaysa mag-party. Ang daming learnings. Minsana na ang party sa December kasama ng LPT. Yes! Congratulations in advance. And of course, happy birthday, Sir Ernest, Balot, Ibanez. Pakigreet po si Sir Ernest, mga kaguro. Alright, number 6, letter A, ang aking nakikita. Ayun, star fruit, yung balimbing. Tama, no? Kamyas yung iba. Ayan. Naglalaway tuloy tayo. Okay, number 6, letter A, letter A, ang aking nakikitang choice ninyo. And of course, letter A po, ang ating hinahanap. No? So meron kang avocado tree at magkalapit sila ng sampagita plant, no, sa garden. And so, the kind of relationship that they would have would be competition, di ba? Sa makikipag-compete sila sa different sources, no? The different resources like the sunlight, the nutrients in the soil, water maybe, no? So, competition yung ating hinahanap dito. Now, related po sa ating items, of course, is the term symbiosis, no? Symbiosis, pag sinabi mo pong symbiosis, this is a long-term association between two organisms of different species. Hindi po ito nawawala sa let, no? So, dapat po kabisaduhin, i-memorize natin yung symbiosis, okay? So, you have 3 types of symbiotic relationships. Unang-una, mutualism. Pangalawa, parasitism. Pangatlo, commensalism. Okay? Mutualism. The feeling is mutual. Both of them are happy. Wow. Parang ikaw tsaka yung jowa mo. Kapag you are in a happy relationship, your feelings are mutual. That's mutualism. Diba? Both partners benefit. Example dito, nitrogen-fixing bacteria and your legumes. Okay? So, yung nitrogen-fixing bacteria mo, of course, would get nutrients from the roots of your plants, your legumes. Ang legumes mo naman, on the other hand, would benefit by the action, no, ng bacteria mo. Yung bacteria is fixing nitrogen. Nitrates, no? Nitrates are important para po sa growth ng ating plants. Okay? So that's mutualism. Both of them are happy, no? So a common question sa let pertaining to mutualism would be the butterflies or the bees and the flower. Okay? So that's mutualism. Your bees and your butterflies would get their food, the nectar, from the flower. The flower, on the other hand, is getting pollinated, no? Through the action of your agents of pollination, your bees and your butterflies. Okay, so that would be mutualism. Parasitism mo, sana hindi ganito yung inyong relasyon. Yung isa po ay may benefit, the other one is harmed. Okay, so yung isa ay masaya, yung isa naman ay harmed, no? So ito yung mga, well, I'm not sure, no, if you can say, no, example natin, sugar daddy and the baby. Okay, so yung baby would get benefits from the sugar daddy. Of course, the sugar daddy, maaring happy siya, but he is also harmed, di ba? Kasi nga naglulustay siya ng pera. Okay, so that's parasitism. Merong parasite at merong host. Okay, so host mo, ang host, tawag mo sa organism that is harmed, that's the host. And the parasite, of course, is the organism that benefits from it. Okay, so example mo dito, human and protozoa, no? Yung mga mikrobyo sa ating pong intestinal tract. Okay, so that would be parasitism. If you have watched the movie Parasite, di ba? So parasite sila, nanghuhut-hut sila or nangingikil sila, no, sa pamilya. Okay, so that's parasitism. Commensalism, one partner is happy, one partner benefits, but the other one is unaffected. No? Deadma lang yung isa. Hindi siya harmed, wala din siyang benefit. Okay, so more or less, wala siyang pake. Okay, so that's commensalism. A bird and a tree. The bird benefits, of course, because the bird lives on the tree, but the tree is not really harmed, and the tree is also not getting any benefits. Okay, so that's commensalism. And of course, ang predation natin dito, when you say predation naman, meron kang predator at meron kang prey. Yung predator, yung kumakain. Ang prey naman, yung kinakain. Aba, baka ganito yung inyong relasyon. May kumakain at may kinakain. May predator at may prey. Sino ka dyan? Okay? And so, ang ating pong correct choice dito for number 6 is letter A, competition. Hindi naman siya mutualism, parasitism, or commensalism. Alright, kainan. Okay, we go to number 7. What does a pH below 7 indicate? Letter A, acidity. Letter B, purity of the sample. Letter C, alkalinity. Or letter D, presence of ions. Sana lahat kinakain. Ay, hala. Ano yan? Sir Noramen. Sir Noramen ba? Or Ma'am Noramen? Tulad ko, habol ng habol pero wala siyang pake. Chat ng chat, wala namang ay, wala man lang, hindi man lang sinin mode. Si Ma'am Jerilyn sa Raswa daw, siya yung prey. Haba? Siya yung kinakain, ma'am. Okay. Alright, number 7. Letter A, ang aking nakikitang choice ninyo. Letter A, tama kaya ang letter A for number 7? So again, if you'd want to enjoy our full video, you can replay our video, you can join our quizzes, and of course, you can download the files, become a member of Team Skinner. Team Skinner po, we still accept no, yung mga mahabol pa rin, po pwede pong full member, po pwede naman pong sa final coaching lamang, and of course, meron din po tayong majorship. Lahat po ng majors, meron tayo. At kung kayo po ay magtitake naman sa sa March next year, meron po tayong Team Pavlov. Habol po kayo, meron pa rin po tayong 50% off. Habang meron pa pong slots, habol po tayo. Okay, number 7, ICDs. Oy, anong problema nyo kay Sir Kim? Hindi daw sumasagot. Hindi ko po alam kung meron kayong GC, no? So tanungin nyo po si Sir Kim. Alright, so number 7, what does a pH below 7 indicate? Now, pH here would mean potential of hydrogen, okay? Potential of hydrogen. If it is below 7, this would indicate letter A, acidity, okay? So letter A, acidity, ang ating pong tumpak na choice. Let's take a look at our slide, no? So tingnan natin yung ating slide. Okay, so here are the different facts about acids and bases. If you have a pH of 7 po, that would be neutral. Okay, so neutral po ang pH of 7. Again, this is neutral. Going down, going below 7 towards 0, that would be acid, no? So acid po yan. Going up from 7, going to 14, ito po yung inyong basis, or another term for this would be alkaline. Okay, so alkaline or basis. Now here, you also have the different characteristics. Again, as mentioned, ang acids mo po has a pH less than 7. It would turn litmus paper into red. Ang inyo pong acid, usually they are sour tasting, no? So yung inyong kalamansi, suha, yung inyong lemon, no? These are vinegar. These are examples of your acids. They sting or just feel wet, okay? So minsan nakakasugat sila, especially if very acidic, no? Katulad nito, pag 0 siya, like your muriatic acid. Include fruit juices, soda, and coffee. Kaya nga hindi advisable na magkape kayo nang walang kain. Yan, sa mga coffee lovers dyan, no? Hindi po pwedeng uminom kayo ng kape nang wala pang kinakain kasi ang kape po ay acid. Okay? So, masusugatan yung inyo pong tawag dito, yung ating pong stomach, especially since meron na pong gastric juice doon, may muriatic acid na tayo sa ating stomach, and so dapat meron tayong steady, kumbaga merong laman yung tiyan natin, no, para yun yung tunawin ng acid sa ating stomach at hindi po yung ating stomach na magkaka-ulcer ka kapag ganun yung nangyari. Now, for your bases, as mentioned, pH is greater than 7. This turns litmus paper blue. Okay, so blue naman po for your bases. They taste bitter or soapy. They feel slippery. Examples of this would be your baking soda, your ammonia, and your soap. Okay, yung mga madudulas, usually these are your bases. Now, soaps, your lotion, your shampoos, these are bases. Okay, so 7 is neutral. Going below 7, those are acids. Going more than 7, those are your bases or alkalines. Okay, we go to number 8. There are blank levels in the hierarchy of biology taxonomy. Letter A, 6. Letter B, 7. Letter C, 8. Or letter D, 15. What is our choice? Yes, Facebook user, hanggang 41 po tayo tonight. Ayon, sabi ni Ma'am Jel de la Cruz, batiin ko lamang po, hi Mamek, Gurong Pinoy, kakanood ko sa Gurong Pinoy LPT na ako. Galing ni Mamek sa kanilord. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Jel de la Cruz. And of course, congratulations po. Okay, number 8, I see a lot of letter C's. Letter C's for number 8, no? Lumabas ito just recently, I think sa March, lumabas po ito. Okay, yung tanong na to sa March ay nakita natin sa LEP. Okay, what is your choice? I see a lot of letter C's. 8. Okay. Okay, I see a lot of letter C's and letter C. 8 ang ating pong tumpak na choice. Okay, so these are the different levels in the hierarchy of biology. Now, taxonomy, no? Pag sinabi mo pong taxonomy, ito yung pagka-classify mo ng organism. Saan ba siya na family? Saan ba siya na kingdom? Saan ba siya na phylum? No? Anong species siya? That would be taxonomy. The father of modern taxonomy, no? Modernong taxonomy is Carolus Linnaeus, no, or Carl Linnaeus. Pero yung luma po, no, ancient taxonomy, yung unang-unang nag-study ng taxonomy was Aristotle. Okay, so Aristotle. All right, so here you have letter C, no, 8. You have domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Our mnemonics for this would be, Dear King Philip came over for great spaghetti. Okay? Pwedeng for great success. Or kung whatever S dyan yung gusto nyong ipalit. Okay? So, dear, that's domain. King is kingdom. Philip is phylum. Came is class. Then you have over, that's order. For, it's family. G or great is genus and spaghetti is species. Okay, so dear King Philip came over for great spaghetti. 8 po ang ating tumpak na choice. Kasama po ang domain. Tama. Okay, we go to question number 9. What is the direction of the planet's revolution? Is it letter A, west to east, letter B, east to west, letter C, clockwise, or letter D, south to north? What is our choice? Okay, what is our choice for number 9? Number 9, ICCs, clockwise. What is the direction of the planet's revolution? Okay, revolution po, yung ating pinag-uusapan, revolution, west to east, east to west, clockwise, or letter D, south to north. Okay, ang tumpak na choice natin dito for number 9 is letter A, west to east. Okay, so west to east ang ating tumpak na choice. Let's take a look at our discussion. Now remember, makinig ha. Ang ating pong mundo, ang Earth, no, ay may dalawang klase ng galaw. Okay, so there are 2 types of movements ng Earth, no. Unang-una, you have rotation. Ang rotation, we'd usually say, no, in science, rotation is the movement of the Earth on its axis. Okay, on its axis. Now, rotation would take 24 hours. Ang epekto po ng rotation would be day and night. Okay, so day and night, that would be the effect of rotation. It takes 24 hours for one rotation to be completed. Okay, so pag turn lang niya sa kanyang axis, no, that would be rotation. Ang moon mo dito, of course, the moon also goes around the Earth. You'd also call this revolution, or revolution ito ng moon around the Earth. Lumalabas po sa let, no, what is the only natural satellite of the Earth? What is the only natural satellite of the Earth? Your answer would be the moon, no? When you say satellite po kasi, this is anything that revolves or goes around a planet. And since the Earth is a planet, the natural satellite, a natural object that goes around the Earth, that's the moon. No? So the only natural satellite of the Earth, your answer would be the moon. Okay, so again, rotation, the movement of the Earth on its axis, it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. Of course, the effect of rotation is the occurrence, no, the occurrence of day and night. Ang revolution naman is the movement of the Earth around the sun. The movement of the Earth around the sun is revolution. It takes 1 year for revolution to be completed. And some effects of revolution, of course, are the different time zones that we have. Iba-iba yung time zones natin. Iba yung time sa Amerika, iba yung time dito, iba yung time sa Europe. No? So the different time zones would be the effect of revolution. Another effect of revolution is the different seasons. Okay, so different seasons, epekto din po siya ng revolution. It takes 1 year to complete one revolution. Okay, and as you can see, no, it's from west to east. Remember your direction. No? Your north here would be on top. South would be here, west mo is dito, okay? And east would be at the other side. And so pag binabasa mo yung mapa, dapat you can see we, W sa left and east sa right. So the movement of revolution is from west to east, or you might say counterclockwise. Okay, so letter A ang ating pong tumpak na choice. We go to number 10. Which terrestrial biome houses the greatest biodiversity? Letter A, tundra. Letter B, taiga. Letter C, middle latitudes. Or letter D, tropics. What is our choice? Okay, ano po yung inyong sagot for question number 10? Kaya pala wala siyang time sa akin. Bakit? Dahil sa revolution? Sa mundo ko umiikot si Marites. Sabi ni ni Sir Jeremy de la Cruz. Okay, so specifically, revolution would take 365 and 1/4 days. Okay, so 365 and 1/4 days. Kaya nga every 4 years ay meron tayong leap year, di ba? Remember, your leap year are those years that are divisible by 4. No? So year 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, these are leap years. So ang next leap year natin would be 2024, then 2028, no? So all those years that are divisible by 4, those are our leap years. Okay, number 10. I see letter A's. Letter A's and D's. A's and D's. So again, no, for you to enjoy the full-length video, magpa-member po kayo sa atin, Team Skinner po for September. And of course, for those of you who will be taking the LET in March next year, open na po yung ating team, no? That's Team Pavlov. Meron pa rin po tayong 50% off for the first 300 students. And bukas po, mag-uumpisa na yung ating refresher, no, for Team Pavlov. That's with Coach June bukas, no? It's for Team Pavlov. Okay, letter D for number 10. Ang question natin dito, which one houses the greatest biodiversity? Unang-una, ano ba yung pagkakaintindi natin ng biodiversity? Anong ibig sabihin ng biodiversity? Ano ba yung biodiversity? Ano po yung pagkakaintindi ninyo sa term na biodiversity? When you say that, if you say it has the greatest biodiversity, maraming nabubuhay, maraming variations, ayun, variety of life, diverse life. Kumbaga, iba-iba ang species, di ba? Iba-iba ang flora and ang fauna. No? If you can remember the terms flora and fauna, sa ating pong ecology, di ba? Flora, these are the plants. And fauna, these are the animals. No? So maraming iba't ibang klase ng flora and fauna, different types of species. In a certain biome, you'd say that its biodiversity is rich or is high, no? And so the correct choice here would be letter D, tropics, no? Or sometimes the letter would say tropical rainforest, okay? Tropical rainforest. So letter D po ang ating tumpak na choice dito, okay? So here, you have the different types of terrestrial biome, no? When you say terrestrial, these are the land biomes, okay? So here, unang-una, let's try to define them, no? From hot to cold, okay? So from hot, yung nasa baba po, ay mas maiinit na lugar, mas maiinit na biomes. As you go up, these are the colder biomes, okay? Then, from wet to dry, as you go from left to right, it gets or it becomes drier, okay? So, rainforest mo, this is very hot, but of course, these houses the greatest biodiversity, no? Ito yung mga malalapit na sa equator. Merong common question sa left na what type of biome, in what type of biome can you find the Philippines? Your answer would be tropical rainforest, no? Or rainforest. Yan po yung inyong magiging sagot. Wala nang ibang sagot doon, no? Kundi rainforest. Savanna, ang savanna mo po, think of your Lion King. Okay? So, usually grass yung inyong makikita. May konting malalaking puno, pero konting-konti. And of course, you have the desert. The coldest biome, usually they'd say it's the desert. Okay? Hindi po tundra, but the desert. Alright? Then, you go up, no? It increases in the coldness. You have your temperate forest, temperate grassland, and of course, disyerto pa rin, pero more or less meron ka ng kukonting pananim. Taiga, these are made up of your conifers, no? Your cones, your pine cones, your evergreens, no? So that's your taiga. If you can remember your eclipse, twilight, di ba? So twilight, kung saan pumupunta si Bella at si Edward, no? Sa maraming pine cone, that would be a taiga, no? So example po siya ng taiga. Tundra, of course, this is also a cold biome, no? So tundra mo, usually frozen. Yung inyo pong soil is frozen all year round. There is a term which you call permafrost. Permafrost, no? It's a layer of soil that is permanently frozen that can be found in your tundra. Okay? But then, our choice for number 10 would be letter D, tropics. Okay? Letter D, tropics, ang ating pong tumpak na choice. Basahin ko lamang from Sir Joe Ranger. Good evening po, Coach Mac. I am your online reviewee last October 2 examination. Of course, I still remember your name. Sir Joe Ranger, with the help of the Lord through you, I passed the LET exam with 86 GPA. Thank you kay Lord for using you to help us. Nag-oath-taking na po ako sa Matina, Davao last March 5. I hope sa susunod sila naman ang mag-oath-taking, yung mga nakikinig at nanonood sa inyo po. I am Febon Parejo Atanasio, LPT. Thank you po, Coach, and God bless everyone sa exam. Maraming salamat and of course, congratulations sa ating LPT. Okay, so the correct choice again would be number 10, no? Number 10 po, letter D, ang ating tumpak na choice. Number 11, the union of egg cell and sperm cell in a test tube is blank fertilization. Letter A, embryology. Letter B, in vitro. Letter C, in vivo. Or letter D, pollination. Ito, isa pa nating passer. Nino Roger Nueva Dakara. Good eve, Coach Mac. Thank you po sa lahat. October 2022, let passer po. Good luck po sa lahat na magtitake. Proud Team Piaget from Iriga City, Camarines Sur. That's coming from Sir Nino Roger Nueva Dakara, LPT. Okay, that's one of our LPTs. And of course, congratulations po sa lahat ng ating LPTs. Maraming salamat po sa pag-i-inspire nyo, no, sa ating pong mga magti-take this coming September at sa inyo pong pagbabalik sa inyong tahanan sa Gurong Pinoy. Okay, number 11, what do you think is the right choice? I see letter B's for number 11. Tumpak kaya ang letter B sa ating question 11. The union of egg cell and sperm cell in a test tube. Okay, so yan po yung inyong hint dyan. Sa test tube, okay, anong klaseng fertilization ang tawag natin dito? Would it be letter A, embryology, letter B, in vitro, letter C, in vivo, or